All right. Um, okay, please look at your formula sheet because there are a couple of mistakes that I wish I had corrected before I copied it, but I didn't think about it. So, here's mine. Okay. If you will turn to the identities which are on page 5. Everybody turn to page 5. On the double angle identities, we did one in the last session. Sine 2 theta equals 2 sine theta cosine theta. There should technically be a comma because then they go into cosine 2 theta is cosine squared minus sine squared. Okay? Those of you that have, everybody's had pre-cal. Then we rearrange this one a lot with our Pythagorean identities. Okay? Also look at the sum and difference identities. Look at negative angle identities. This is something that you may not, it's kind of hard to read. What are they saying? Sine, cosine, negative theta. Yeah, I don't know what the sine is doing in front of there now that I look at it. Anyway, I think, are they doing something? That almost looks like the sine of the cosine of negative theta would equal the, but that doesn't make any sense because you couldn't even take the sine of the cosine of negative theta. I don't know what they typed it into, but as I was reading it over, I saw some mistakes. Negative angle identities go like this. I don't think, coming next, I don't think the word sine is supposed to be in front of that. And sine of negative theta is negative sine theta. And they didn't give you tangent, but tangent of negative theta is negative tangent theta. Sophia, was that you that said odd and even? Yeah. Okay, what I really care about is the addition and subtraction. Look at cosine A plus or minus B. I would have written it cosine A, cosine B, minus plus sine A, sine B, which I had only Stacy in my pre-cal class, but the rest of you, your book or your teacher may have written it this way, okay? That way you follow cosine A plus B across the top. It goes cosine A, cosine B. If this is plus, it's paired with a minus. If it's minus, it's paired with a plus. For calculus and contest math, it's good just to know cosine's always kind of the weird one. Cosine negative theta equals cosine theta. Cosine A plus B has got a minus thrown in the middle of it. Cosine A minus B has a plus thrown in the middle of it. And it all goes back to its even functions. It's not really that weird, but the other two functions are odd. That's the only mistakes I saw on it, but if I see some more, I'll let you know. So in the future, I need to make those corrections before I print them off, but I didn't want to waste paper. Okay, something else flew to my, another thing. Let me write this on my to-do list. Okay, the AMC is given February 5th. And I'm going to do it in the morning from 8 to 10, and I've reserved, I believe, C301, so a fairly large room for us instead of squeezing in if you squeezed in last year. I hope I get that room. It's like pending right now, but I'm going to look into some and try to grab it. So I'll let you know for sure. You'll get, emails from me. But I want to let your individual teachers know, okay? And if you're going to take the AMC, if you're not going to take the AMC, then it'll free up. We only have 20 tests, and I have about 10 people in the math team. So that reserves some spots from some other people that are interested that want to try it. They're maybe in math leagues. So, Sophia, you responded that you're going to take it. And you have a class at 8 o'clock on day 1. All right, so would that be Coach K? Okay. So Monica with the blonde hair. Grace, you have a morning class 8 to 10 on day 1. Mr. Moore. Oh, so you have Mr. Moore. Kennedy, do you have a day one morning class?
I don't have PE, but I have the scripts for.
What time does that start? 9:15?
Yeah.
Okay, so who do you have for scripture?
Oh, I have scriptures for PE that were in the same class.
So you go from PE to scripture. Okay, and what is that?
We have one big one.
Acts.
Yeah, they were. 2002, it was like.
Alright, so, okay,
One of them. $100,000.
and, Alice, you're planning on taking that, you, okay, and, okay,
Yeah, we watched them all.
no class. 8 to 10. It's 75 minutes, but I wanted to reserve, so we may be getting close to it even in the scriptures. Cause 75 minutes, you might be there at 9:15, it's just that we got a bubble in there and get settled. We really won't go until 10 most likely, but
Thursday,
anyway. Stacy, you said you were gonna take the AMC.
Yeah, I just hope you missed one.
World Series, 12.
Alright, Morgan, are you gonna take it?
I'll take it.
You don't have class,
No,
right?
I don't think so.
No
I
class.
want to go watch it.
Alright, I'll check with, okay, and then, alright, so let me review. Sophia, Coach K, Grace, Coach Moore, and Miss Estevez. Kennedy, Miss Estevez, and Stacy, Mr. Moore.
Yeah.
And so what'll happen, instead of a blanket email, I'll email them specifically, and I'll go like Coach K, Sophia Lee, and, are you the only Coach K? Okay. But I'll check with my sophomores also, but they'll get a personal email, they're taking some American national, competition, that you need to be there, alright? Shouldn't be a problem, and the administrators know, so they'll, I don't think anybody's gonna be upset about it, but just make sure that you touch base with your teacher. Also, Alice, let's sit down, and we had yesterday, MJ1 next week, we need to finalize the other slots, and so right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so I have 4 slots for the 12, and probably maybe 6 slots for the 10.
4, 12, and
6 for the 10.
Are the 11s taking the 10 or the 12?
12. Because AMC 10 really needs 10 and 11. So I think some of my 10s would do good on the AMC 12, but as years go on, we'll make that decision, which won't even affect anybody staying in here. But there are some years that I've had students that want to take it twice. And the 10's easier, so if you're 10 and below, you want to take it maybe, but you have to make a higher score because it's easier. You want to try to make a 120 on that instead of a 100 on the 12. But I thought it'd be a good day to talk through the semantics of it. And the 10s are really good at watching the videos, so they probably would be listening to this. But anyway, let's see, for juniors, Alex, Grace, and Kennedy, you might just be on the decision process of how many to order since we're going forward. So some students want to take the AMC 10A and then try the AMC 12B because they're given on different days. We don't have to decide on that right now. I've already decided on taking the B just because it gave us a little more time to prepare. One's not harder than the other, the A version and the B version. At least they don't intend for it to be. It's like taking different ACTs. Okay, so let's talk logistics for a minute. All right, so again, I really rely a lot on the art of problem solving side. And by the way, I'll give you another packet that has maybe, we may even, I don't know, I think there's some crossover, but you're probably going to need both, especially if you're going to stay with me for next year and send stuff. Back to this. Let's just talk about the 12 because it's just us now that are taking 12s. You're looking for 100 points. So let's talk about that's your goal to qualify. That's a score you would write on your, and some of you seniors, if you hadn't gotten into your college yet, a lot of, depending on what colleges you're looking at, they would want to know your AMC score. If your AMC score is not good, don't write it on the app. But some apps that you fill out next year, juniors will ask for your AMC score, and you could just, it's optional, okay? But it's also something a senior could send to colleges that you're still trying to get in, especially maybe an Ivy League or top tier college. And also, anyway, it helps with some certain programs and stuff. So if we're trying to get at least 100 points to be the top 5% in the country, that's why, in case you were worried about your scores last year, if you actually saw our scores were like 40 to 60 range, I think, it's okay. I mean, we were still in a certain nice percentage of the country just as going with our curriculum, but you see we've got to go beyond that. So if there's 25 questions and you're shooting for 100 points, correct answers are worth 6 points. So what if you answer 10 of them, you automatically have 60 points. If you answer 20 of them and leave 5 blank, you have 120 points. So you see you want to balance because you also have a 1.5, well, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Unanswered ones are worth 1.5 points. Incorrect answers are worth 0 points. Sorry. So they really mean that. It's a weird penalty for guessing. It's very strange. If you leave it blank, what do you get? You get points. Okay?
What if you leave every question blank?
Then you would get 25 times 1.5, which would give you, what would that give you? 37.5. Okay? Better than 0. But suppose that you answer 15 and you feel really good about it. Okay? So you'll be trying for this score of 15 and 10 of them you're like, oh, forget it. Okay? Which could easily happen. So 15 times 6 is 90 of them. Okay? So you're already almost there, 90 points. And then you count up the ones you've left 10 blank.
So you have 105.
So you've got it. Okay? Now, suppose you missed one of the ones you thought you got. Then you might want to look at the 10 you're going to leave blank and then go through what some of us talked about in the last time, like some educated guessing or I'll try it. I've got some more minutes left. So you want to go in there and only the answer the ones you feel good about. Skip. Okay? And you're just trying to rack up points. But I really wanted y'all to know this before we went in. You may be looking at me going, well, I should have done that last year, okay? Because you may have tried to answer everything. You probably didn't. It's really hard for even, sometimes you'll see AOPS people are problem solving. I'll show you some videos. I sent you one last year, I think, of like an actual person way beyond me working the AMC 12 time. And they're like, I got them all right but one or something, but they're just working and they coach. So I want you to go in there not thinking that you're going to answer every problem. If you do, that's great. I have taught people that actually just blow the top off this. Qualify for the Amy and then qualify for the next one, which is a two-day exam, but they're also in an Ivy League college, so that score may or may not qualify.
It's fine.
They look at everything. So think about your balance, and you're just trying to get the best score now. Student that scored over 100 points or in the top 5%. It's like the SAT. And that if you score over 100 points, you're in. But it might be a year that people didn't do well on the AMC, so if you make it in the top 5%, you're still in with a 90-something. So keep that in mind when you do the SAT. Okay? Question?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'm sorry. If you think of it, just yell it out. Don't make me comment. Yeah, I'm sorry. Something about scoring, and I've only been talking about scoring, or a video of somebody working it, not going to jog your memory. Okay. All right, so let me let you work a problem by yourself or with a friend. By the way, Alice, I don't know if you're prepared to choose. I'll put you on the spot. And because I've been wanting to do this at some point. And prime numbers, what are you doing? Tell us what you know about prime numbers that helps you with some of these problems.
The only factors are 1 in itself.
Yeah, but there's something that you do to know if something's prime. Have you memorized them?
No, it just makes sense.
Okay. So you don't have any special rules about prime. Okay, so we'll find some. I was just gonna, you're really good with prime numbers, but or anything that you know, a trick that I'm not mentioning, that you've gone to Kumon or some sort of math something, please throw that in, because I sure don't know. Grace?
So would you say this will be easier or harder than our math madness?
No, I think it's easier. Like in terms of like, yeah, in terms of like solving it.
I thought the Math Madness got really hard to where they were giving you harder AMC type questions. So here's your comfort zone, like y'all were saying. You're going to have a lot of questions that you can answer. And what tends to bother us are the ones that we can't answer, okay? Now what happens, we weren't up against people in Math Madness that were smarter. We were just up against people that had practiced this stuff more than we have. And that'll change as years go by, okay? So as the rounds got tougher, the problems they started giving art of problem solving, problems that actually weren't hard for some of them, just because they'd done it before. Okay. So so go in there and answer the ones that you can. Just cherry pick the ones that you can. All right. So here is a problem I just want you to try, and then we'll work it together. Okay. So can y'all see that okay? I'm just going to be quiet for a minute. You can write on the board. You can think to yourself. You can do it in your head. This one's very easy. Very easy. Not to make you feel bad. Granted, it's also number 2. Just raise your hand when you know the answer, but don't call it out. Okay, Grace and Morgan, Kennedy. By the way, raise your hand when you know it, but I'm not going to put you on the spot and call on you. I'll let you volunteer for that in a minute. I just want to make sure everybody's had time to think about it. Okay. All right, now raise your hand if you want to give the answer. Okay, Grace?
Let's see.
All right, so how'd you get C?
Well, n was one of the lowest numbers, and n had to be prime, so automatically it's not p, d, or e, because those aren't prime. And a minus 2 is 9, which isn't prime either, so it has to be c.
Okay, so, and then you said n minus 2 was 17. Okay. All right, so things you want to do, if n is not prime and n minus 2 is prime, so I don't know if that's the answer. It says n is not prime. All right, so I'm glad we're doing this because we have a C, an A, and an E so far.
It's the opposite. It has to be p, d, or e.
Okay.
Counterexample would be like if, and then that is a false.
So it's e.
Yeah.
It's E.
Yeah.
Okay. So it says if n is not prime, then n minus 2 is prime. So it's like somebody's made a statement to you. If n is not prime, then n minus 2 is prime, and they want you to believe that unless you can give a counterexample. Okay? Does that make sense? I can explain it.
You're not like. I thought you meant just like switch it.
Only the end part, like the statement. That's making.
All right, so we're just giving a counterexample means we're going to show them a time that quote doesn't happen. Then we can prove it's not always true. All right? So for instance, these are out because it says if n is not prime and these 3 have factors. If you look at this one just to play around with it, you have 21. 21 minus 2 is 19, and minus 2 is prime. That is not a counterexample. Okay? With 27, 27 minus 2 is 25. That's not prime. So I'm like, no, you're wrong. Kind of remember from your geometry the if-then statements and counterexamples. Your teacher probably said that to you. So it's E. All right, so a few of y'all got E? All right, now try this one. Okay, everybody pause. You need a pen or a marker or something. The reason today that I'm not just going, this is how I do it, this is how I do it, this is how I do it. I picked a couple that you could manage to do and that I want you to be able to do when the AMC rolls around. This is one I would want you to pick because you know about the material. The reason I'm not just out and out doing it is because if I show you how I did it, it won't make sense unless you tried it. I don't care if you get it or not, but if you try it, you'll see at least what direction I'm going in. You can do it. Start writing. Start writing what it means. Start writing what it means. Let me give you a hint. How can you write n plus 1 factorial? N plus 1 times, wait, let's just write it out. N plus 1 times n times n minus 1 dot dot dot. Write out a few of them, okay? Anybody get a quadratic yet? No calculators. I wished I had one, but I'll show you how to manage it. That'll be a good question. Morgan, go ahead and use your calculator, but we'll talk about how I do it without it. No calculators on the AMC. Okay, girls, now hopefully you're to the place, did anything cancel out? What can you cancel out of each term? All right, so n times n minus 1 can be divided out of the whole problem. Did a few of y'all notice that? With factorials, that's very common. So just start writing it out. All right, let's just work it together. That leaves me n plus 1, n plus 2 times n plus 1 equals 440. Once I'm there, I should be able to do it algebraically. But let's pause for a minute. Does everybody understand please tell me if you don't understand what I've done so far. Because I'd be the person that would go, I don't know what you did so far, okay? At your age, or maybe older. Factorial, I start writing it out. If every term has the same thing in it, you can cancel it out. All right, then you have two choices. Did y'all see you could FOIL this? Or what could you factor out of this entire side? N plus 1. I'm not sure that a lot of people would do it this way. You'd probably do it another way, but it's just the way I think. I'm always thinking about pulling things out. So if I take out an n plus 1, what does it leave me here? 1. And what does it leave me here? N plus 2. So that gives me n plus 1 times n plus 3. That's like a math team trick. So I'm gonna, thank you, 440. I don't need to work it into 400. Thanks, Stacey. Girls, remember how I told you on math team, what you wanna do is not have your head buried in it like this. You wanna be looking at the big picture. I'm always thinking of what I can factor out because it might make my life a lot easier, as in this is already factored. Did y'all see that? All right, let me coach you a minute. Stop working what you're working on because I know you're dying to solve this, okay? Once you get down to this part. If you had pulled this out, you would have had a quadratic n squared plus 3n plus, you would have then ended up with something that would factor into this. But you see I'm already at my factored place? If I fled this out and added like terms, I would have an n squared something that would factor into this side. Are you with me so far? So do you see that skill I'm trying to teach you? I saw we both had an n plus 1 in it, so I'm already factored. Any questions? Question time's awesome, okay? Don't ever be scared to ask questions in here. I know, thanks, Stacey told me. But thanks for reminding me. And don't do that. Don't change your numbers into new numbers. I do that a lot because I'm so focused on something else. Now, please don't ever go, I'm going to set this equal to 440 and this equal to 440. You will definitely miss the problem. That only works with 0. If this is equal to 0, wouldn't one of these have to be 0? You see, you'll miss it if you make this one 440 and this one 440. That is not what you should do. So you have another option. You could FOIL it out, subtract 440, and try to factor it. Good luck with that. This is math clean. This is coaching right now. I'm going to leave it alone like that, okay? And I'm going to go. I also have answer choices. 3s, 11s, 11s, 12s, whatever. I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to factor 440. My first thought is 44 times 10. Whatever number I'm looking for is only 2 apart. Do y'all see that? Again, you can see I'm really coaching math team now. These are only 2 apart. I have a number plus 1 and a number plus 3 that I'm looking for. These are too far apart. So how about I try, yay! But you see how I'm looking at it, okay? 22 times 20. And this was instinctive for me after coaching math team. It'll get instinctive for you, okay? So which one is n plus 3? If this one's 22 and this one's 20. And I've forgotten what the question was. What's the sum of the digits? Okay, which again, you saw a lot in Math Madness, right? What's the sum of the digits? All right, so n plus 3 is 22. So that means n is 19, or here you could have seen it, right? N is 19, and the sum of the digits is 10. I had a lot of math team stuff, and it was just number 4 in the AOPS. In the AMC. Questions? So pause. Don't go full force algebra. Keep pausing. I noticed I could cancel. I noticed I could factor instead of multiply it out, which we do in calculus a lot. And I always keep an eye on the prize. Like, what is it I'm trying to do? So it's a lot of quick playing around with things to get it right. Okay? All right. Let's do this one if we have time. Oh, I think I had another one. Did we do both of those? Guess maybe I just didn't insert it. Maybe the first one? Oh, okay. I am just curious how you would approach this one. Did I screenshot enough? Paula wishes to travel along exactly 13 of these roads, starting at City A and ending at City L, without traveling along a portion of a road more than once. I'm sorry, I cut off some of the words. Paula is allowed to visit a city more than once, and we call these nodes in graph theory. Those are nodes and edges, okay? I feel like I could do this a little better if I had colored pencils, but you can't. You have 2 number 2 pencils that you can bring into the room. So let me let you try that for a few minutes. I'll stop you in time to get to class. I just am curious how you work this. And I'll show you next time how I work it. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't give you the answer choices. That makes a difference. The answer choices are small. They're all very small. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the most you could get is possibly is 4. Your answer choices are small.
How many cities can she? How many?
Did I not even screenshot the question? Sorry, that was really bad. How many different routes can Paula take? It's nice to know the question. Sorry about that. How many routes? So in other words, what's the most number of paths you can follow and visit and go along 13 roads? And what we'll do in here when we do this kind of stuff this year, and those of you that are with me next year, raise your hand when you think you know the answer.
Oh, was it 0 to 9? I got 13.
Oh, it says how many she's going to visit 13. She's going to go through 13 roads.
She wishes to go.
She wishes to travel along exactly 13 of these
Is
roads.
it possible?
So it could even be 0.
It's one. Or it's at least one.
It's at least one.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 13.
So when you say you got 13, you didn't get 13 ways. You got 13 one time. Okay. So you did something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can she go
That's not how I did it.
along a portion of a road? Oh, without. All right. So what am I on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
You have to start to the right.
10.
She started down got
I
it.
got another one.
I started to the right, got it.
All right. So 1, 2,
Go left.
3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah, then
7,
go up.
8,
Right.
9, 10, 11,
12.
12, 13. So that's 1.
So it's a pattern.
What happened with me is I got another one, but I couldn't tell what I'd done with my pencil. And you could draw it over and over again and try to get a different path. But if I had different colors, you could find some more. You might find a second one that's not that one.
I started going down.
There is one I got going down,
Is
okay?
it 2?
It's 2. It's 4?
Which would drive you crazy. So next class I'll teach you some graph theory. Oh, next week. We don't have any day 3s and 5s, which are the days that most people are free.
What I want.
So please do this. I will send you short little snippets of videos by email just to watch me work a couple of problems and tell you some more stuff. And then I think we'll meet the next week a couple of times. But to make it meaningful, I'll still meet with you virtually, okay? So I may even ask you to be like on the honor system, like send me an email back when you watched it. I'll make them short so you can pick and choose what you want to watch, or you might even try the problem yourself. I'll send it with this link. You may look at it and go, I don't need to watch that, I just know that I know how to work the problem.
Can you time that one on there too?
Oh, I'll work, this will be the first thing you get from me next week, okay? But I gotta teach you something about paths and nodes and circuits. That's very learnable. I've taught it to people. I've taught this actually in class at a school that kids could take calculus or discrete mathematics. Or no, they didn't even want to take calculus. So what I mean is anybody, I'm trying to say this nicely, anybody.